Dust off your jerseys, grab your Waukee caps. Got the whole team ready, no turning back. From the hardwood floors to the diamond bright, we're here to talk sports all day and night. Yeah, it's a sports show. From the opening tip to the final, we're with you.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Catch Up with Cody Podcast live. Sorry, we are a little later than expected. When technology doesn't want to work, it doesn't want to work. So thank you, Tim, for being on. Again, sorry about that little bit of delay, but glad we got that all straightened out. How are you doing? How was your weekend and everything like that? Are you still muted?
No, I'm 100% just here. I'm just messing with you. After all those difficulties, I had to mess with you. I apologize, but
No, I almost just was like, "That's it, we're done."
No, man, I'm good. It's still just a little bit. I wouldn't say jet lagged because I didn't fly anywhere, but I was out of state for the weekend. And let me tell you, the drive home fought me the entire way. Like, it was the longest drive home ever. Like, it's just problems right out the gate. We get like 20 miles out from where we are, and all of a sudden, like, I got a tire starting to go low, and it's like, damn it, we're about to get a flat tire. Like, what do we do? So we're searching. We're like in the middle of the mountains, and all I see is mountains, occasional farm field mountains, and it's like, we're 4 miles away from a Walmart. Let's just make it to a Walmart. I was like, there's got to be something wrong with this tire. Luckily, we made it there, got it fixed, back on the road an hour later. But with traffic and everything else, it turned into a wild day. But we did get to stop at Buc-ee's on the way home, and Buc-ee's is amazing. I don't know if you've ever been to a Buc-ee's, but that place is wild for a gas station. Absolutely wild. It was the most exciting part of the day.
Nice. No, I have never been to one. I think they're more down south, right? I don't think there's any up this way.
I think there's like one in Ohio might be the closest one to us, but yeah, I was down south. We stopped in one in Kentucky because I spent the weekend down in Tennessee. We had a celebration of life for a family member that passed away a few months ago, so we had to go down for that. So that's where we were all weekend. So I'm still like not jet lagged, but truck lagged because let me tell you, it ended up being a 12-hour drive home, and oh god, I hurt so bad that like today I was supposed to get all this stuff done, and it was like, nope, I'm just gonna nap, bro. Like as soon as I like picked my kid back up from school because we had some running around to do this morning, I was like, I went to bed for like 3 hours and just slept, and then woke up and like I'm ready to rock and roll. Besides, like my throat and stuff like that still messed up because our hotel room, the AC was cranking, but let me tell you, it was like the driest AC ever. So like, have you ever had that, like you wake up and like your whole nasal cavity and throat's like so dry it hurts, and you're like, yeah, I'm still dealing with that. But it's better since I'm back home. My AC don't do that up here. Like it's just lack of any moisture in there. Like it was just super dry down there and hot, super hot. I was sweating just walking outside.
Yeah, well, obviously you brought the hot weather up here because I feel like it's been disgustingly hot here for the last couple of days.
Oh, it was nothing. Today was beautiful, bro. Like compared to down there, like I was sitting on the back deck earlier drinking a beer, and it was like, this is gorgeous. Down there, it was just hot, humid.
Damn, crazy. Well, let's get into some sports talk here. Kind of want to talk about the big story going on that happened over the weekend with Dylan Larkin requesting a trade. I know, there was a lot of talk about them taking his captain title away and people wanting him traded. Well, I think he listened to everybody and said, fine, I will just take my matters somewhere else. I know today, I believe he came out with the 3 teams that he wants to go play for, which to me, I don't know. I feel like when a player requests a trade, like when they come out with a list of places they want to go, like that's not helping the team. That's only helping them. So I don't know how I really feel about him coming out with his list of teams he wants to play for.
No, I'm right there with you, and I think the three teams were listed were the Golden Knights, the Wild, and the Florida Panthers. There, so two teams that have no state taxes. So smart move on his part. You know what I mean? And the Wild, which are a pretty good up and coming, team right now. They're young. He could thrive over there. But one thing when you come out with a list of teams like that, you go, I want to go to a team that I feel like I can win on now. And it's just showing that you really don't care about, the fans in a way, like most of us can feel that way. You just worry about winning. And do I blame him? Not really, in that aspect. Like he's done his best here, and obviously the Iser plan is not working out. He hasn't put anybody around him to help him out, and I don't blame him. Now they're talking about taking that C. And it's I can understand his frustration in that point, but at the same time, I also go, how the hell did he get the C? You know what I mean? Like, what has he done to prove that he's good? Is he obviously the best player on this team? Sure. But is he proved to be a leader? I don't know. A lot of people throughout the season have been going, take the C away, take the C away, take the C away. And everybody was like, just trade him, just trade him. And all of a sudden that he's asking for a trade, you get the same people that are like, trashing his name because he wants out. You know what I mean? It's like, just chill out, guys. You know what I mean? Like, do I blame him? No. Am I upset about him wanting out? Maybe a little bit, but I understand. Obviously, the Iser plan is not working out and they didn't do anything to fix it. He didn't add any pieces this past season. I mean, he added the one piece, but did that work out? No. No, not at all. Team got worse after the trade deadline. And I know Larkin had a little bit of that injury going on in March there, and the team fell off while he was off. He had that team rolling in first place. He gets injured, he comes back, and they're like 10th in their division. And it's like wild, Well, not maybe their division, but in the conference, they're like 10 back from, the conference lead. At one point, they were leading the entire Eastern Conference. And then all of a sudden they just drop off. But I got into a discussion about this on the Sports Reel last week, and I really put a lot of blame, not on Yzerman, not on Larkin. I put it on Chris Ilitch, to be honest, because it's the same problems we've had with the Tigers. I don't think this is an Yzerman issue, just like I don't think this is a Hinch issue. When it comes to getting the pieces you need for these teams, I think it all just rolls right back to Chris Ilitch. Like, he does not want to spend money the way the old man spent money. So we need a little bit of a wake-up call as Detroit fans, and we need to call for, Ilitch to wake the hell up and start making a difference if you want successful teams. The only thing he's been really good at is raising the damn ticket prices to make it almost impossible to make it down to these games. Like I remember a couple of years ago when the Tigers were at the bottom of the basement, me and my wife went third base line like 3 rows back. We only paid like $45 a ticket, which was amazing. Maybe it might have been 2 years ago. It was whatever Cabrera's last year was. We wanted to go down and see him play one more time. So, and now to get those seats, it's expensive. You know what I mean? Same thing with Red Wings. Red Wings, they started out hot for half the season last year, and he just spiked the prices through the roof. It's crazy. Like, that's the only thing he's been good at, but he hasn't been good at building a team that can be successful throughout an entire season. And I can't knock. I'm sure we'll get into the Tigers here in a little bit. So there's a little bit of excitement around that because they seem to be turning that thing around. But the Red Wings, Chris Ilitch, this is once again, we've gone off on you on our show, and I'm going to do it again here. You need to wake the hell up, bro. You need to spend some money on these teams. You want to keep players like Larkin, which granted, there's a lot of people, and I think you might have even said it. He might be, second line on most teams. He's not that top guy. If he goes to those teams, he's not going to be that top guy on those 3 teams that he requested. Like, you're not going to be the top guy.
No, and honestly, like, I think he's kind of getting to the point where he doesn't really want to be that top guy anymore. I mean, I feel like it takes the pressure off of him. Like you said about Ilitch, like, yeah, I got into it with a couple people and they were like, well, there's a salary cap, I'm like, I get that there's a salary cap and everything, but you still have to put a team together. And like you said, I mean, they're not even trying to make any moves or even like, even if there was a thought or like, hey, we're thinking about bringing this guy in, or they're kind of making the moves to show that they're going in a different direction and the right direction. I think Larkin would have stayed. But I mean, he's been here 10 years and we haven't done anything and haven't proved to him that we're trying to do anything. So I don't know. It's sad to see because he is a hometown kid and everything like that. But I mean, everybody wants to go win a championship, and he deserves it just like the next guy.
Yeah, and you know, we might be early to say just because he wants to be traded doesn't mean he's gonna be traded. You know what I mean? Like he's only put 3 teams on there. What says that any one of those 3 teams want to try to trade for him and give up, future, possibilities to get him? Because I'm sure that Iserman, because he is the captain, he is our star, you know what I mean, is gonna want a pretty good haul to get Dylan Larkin. So sometimes that works out for the team trading away that star, you know what I mean, because you can pick up those pieces to get a future star that wants to be here. And but the problem with it is now it feels like we might be entering another rebuild era of the Red Wings, and we've been on a 7-year rebuild since Iserman got here, and now all of a sudden it feels like it's going to start over again. At some point we got to go. I mean, and I'm sure Iserman, like, I don't want to put all the blame on him, Cody. Like, I don't, because I feel like his hands are tied. Just like I feel the same way with the Tigers. Like, I think his hands are tied. So maybe that's why he's still here, because a lot of people were calling for his damn head. And, like, I think we need to chill off that. But I don't want to start another damn rebuild. Like, it's been 10 years. Like you said, 10 years since this team has made the playoffs. This is the team I grew up that watched that made the playoffs like 20 something years straight. Like, this was winning hockey. That's why they called it Hockey Town. And now all of a sudden we haven't been able to make it in 10 years, and they start out hot and then they fall off in May. Like, they got to figure out something to get through May, and Chris Ilitch needs to allow them to be able to do that. And I think he's the one doing it. It's irritating. It's irritating. And now it's rebuild again.
Yeah, and the one thing that I've been telling people is, like, I know there's a lot of former Red Wings alumni in the front office and in the scouting department. Like, I get it, that's cool. Like, you want to win a championship with, your former players and everything like that, but they might be great athletes on the ice, but as far as like crunching numbers and running the behind the scenes stuff, I mean, maybe they're just not built for it. So I don't know too if they're kind of worried about like tarnishing that relationship if they do fire like Iserman, for example. But at the end of the day, like, it's a business. You got to do what you got to do to make the team successful.
Yeah, and I think it really starts at the top, man. Like, I understand there's a lot of people in that front office that are former players that maybe don't have the ability to do it, but we know that Iserman has the ability to I mean, a lot of people say he inherited most of that team, but he does have the ability to take a team to win a Stanley Cup. We've seen it since he's been in a GM position, and now having him up here, we thought that was going to be the saving grace because he was able to do the thing in Florida, and it just hasn't worked out. I'm convinced now 100%. Watching the Wings, watching the Tigers, it's an ownership issue. And if the old man was here, I think both of them would have championships,
Oh yeah.
in the recent, last few years. And I just don't think the Illiches want to spend the money, honestly. And I understand it's a salary cap thing, but there's ways around that. We see it all the time with football. I have a buddy who's huge into hockey, and he was telling me how they work around that stuff in hockey. You know what I mean? I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said there's ways around it there too. Everywhere has ways around it. You know what I mean? So there's got to be things that you can do, but you got to be wanting to spend that money. And I just don't think the Illiches want to spend that money. They just want to keep raking it in. It's just, apparently they don't make enough money off of selling, hot and readies. So they need to make a little bit more money. And
Yeah. And I mean, like, the other sad thing is too, is like, I believe a couple years ago, like, when we were pretty much like out of the race, like, bring up some of these young guys to see how they do, like how they mesh with the players that are already in the pros. And, maybe you'll find that diamond in the rough somewhere with these young guys. I mean, the Grand Rapids Griffins have been doing really good. So bring some of those guys up and kind of see what they can do. But I think like you said, I think this rebuild is going to be a long rebuild.
Yeah, are we looking at another 7 to 10 years? You know what I mean? You bring up the Griffins and you go bring them up, but honestly, I think in those instances, same thing with the Tigers because the Tigers have a really deep whether it's AAA, AA, like they got a deep bench down there too, like, and I think they just use them mostly as trade pieces. To be honest, like I don't even feel like it's winning mentality anymore. It's just money making mentality, and it's really irritating as a fan. And I think that's what it's all about. Like, how can we make the most money? And what can we do? Well, you're about to lose Larkin, if possibly. I'm still not convinced he's going to be traded, to be honest. Like, he's only requesting 3 teams. Do those teams really need him? No. You know what I mean? Like, does Vegas need him? No. Like, they're in the Stanley Cup right now and they're doing pretty damn well. What are they willing to give up to get him? What do they even have to give up to get him? You know what I mean? So, like, and like I said, Eiserman's not going to let him go cheap. So I'm not 100% convinced he's not going to be a Red Wing next year, even though he doesn't want to be. But, it's, we'll have to wait and see. But I just,
Yeah.
I think the Illiches are about making money, not winning. That's what honestly I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. And you you kind of brought up the Tigers and everything. So I saw talk about another possible trade piece. I mean, that's another thing too. Like, are we going to lose 2 superstars in Detroit in the same calendar year? Like, what are we doing? And I know you said the Tigers are kind of on the success train right now, but how long do you think that's going to last? I know they hit that. Kevin McGonigal hit that walk off hit last night, so maybe this is the momentum they need to get into it, and hopefully make the playoffs this year.
Well, I mean, you brought up a point there. You're talking about Skubal, and I saw a report come out today that teams have been calling about Skubal, and the Tigers are saying he's not available to trade. Like, they have no interest in trading him at this point in time because one, people need to chill out. I understand they went through a little bit of a losing streak there for a little bit, but they're back on track right now. And they're starting to get pieces back. Skubal's about to come back. Verlander's about to come back. We're going to get Mize back at some point. Like, most of that starting rotation has been hurt over the last month when they've been losing a lot. So getting those pieces back, you start flowing, and you can start seeing it right now. Like, the team's starting to flow. And I think so with them flowing like that, you're not going to be really interested in trading them because there's a possibility of them coming out of this thing and, staying hot and moving in. And I'm all about it because last year, if you think about it, last year they were the hottest team of baseball for up until the All-Star break. And then after that, they fell off. I've been saying since the beginning of the season, if they're going to lose a lot, do it now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You want to get it out of the way now and then get hot towards the end of the year because momentum matters. And so if they can get all that losing out of the way, and then after that All-Star break, which I think is coming up not too long from now. You know what I mean? Like, you're starting to get close to the middle of the season here. And you get hot after that and roll that thing all the way in, you can go deep into October. And that's really what we want. And if they can stay healthy, injuries have been a plague for them this year. I mean, like I said, I think they had 5 starting pitchers out of that rotation injured at just recently, which is
Yeah,
wild.
because I think Verlander was supposed to pitch tomorrow, and I think they scratched him from the lineup.
Is he back hurt again?
I think so, or it's not. It didn't heal as he thought it was. Um,
I know he
so
had a
yeah, that
rehab
sucks.
assignment in Toledo, and that went pretty well. So maybe he's still dealing with some stuff. But I mean, he is a 72-year-old starting pitcher. So, like, Jesus, even though I love Verlander, I've always had love for Verlander. You know what I mean? But he's getting up there. But even, I mean, got Casey Mize back, and they won a game, and then he went right back out again. It's these guys need to get healthy. And Skubal's actually back a lot quicker than a lot of us thought he was going to be back. And he looked good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Looked like he might have put on maybe 15, 20 pounds while he was off for that 2 months. But I was like, I just don't know if those colors really suit his body type because he looks a little chunky right now, which is nothing wrong with that. But, like, he does look like he put on a little bit while he was off for, I mean, the only thing he's been off for, what, 6 weeks, if that? And they were saying possibility of 2 to 3 months, and he's already out there pitching. So, give it to him there. But apparently, like I said, people have been calling, and Tigers have been saying he's not on the trade block at this point in time. So, unless somebody calls with an offer that is, irrefutably, undeniably, they can't turn it down. I don't think he's going anywhere at this point in time because I still think they feel like they can make a move. Now, if the Illiches have anything to do with it, they'll probably just sell him for $100 million and be like, I'll just take him. $100 million. You can have him. Damn, guys are just money hungry. But yeah, we're feeling pretty good about the Tigers right now. They're starting to make a little bit of a run at it. They're getting back in this thing. And as long as, there's still a chance. Baseball's a long season. People need to stop freaking out, and I know I've made a lot of posts, downing on the Tigers, and being angry about them, but as a fan, we have the right to do that.
Yes.
When we get mad, let's get mad. Let's tell ownership how we feel. Let's tell management how we feel. Like, we could be happy again a week later. That's up and downs of being a Detroit sports fan. We deal with it with all the teams, but yeah, just so we're excited again. Next week, we might be angry again.
Yeah. Yeah. It all depends on what day of the week it is. We're either going to be disappointed or we're going to be excited. So, but let's move over to obviously the NBA, which is currently going on as we speak. I know we've talked about this a couple times. I think New York's taking it. I think it's going to be a 4-0 sweep.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I heard some news over the weekend, little insider news here. I heard that because they've had a few days off now, Wemby has been able to go back to his mothership and recharge those batteries and get re-downloaded with some skills. So I think the Spurs are going to be fine. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, you need to update. And he hadn't been able to get to the mothership in a little while. So now his ass has been to the mothership. He's going to come back and, he's going to be ready for New York. They should have did that beforehand, but they thought that there was enough to carry them through. They were hot enough. Apparently not. New York's been hot, but I don't think, I think the Spurs are going to slow them down a little bit right now and maybe take the next game or two. Now, New York will probably win this series, to be honest, but I also think that if the Spurs can slow them down and steal a game from them, they can change momentum in this series. The Knicks have been hot. You need to slow them down. You need to get into their heads. It's got to be a mental game now. You know what I mean? Like, momentum will carry somebody. If you slow that momentum off and you can switch it, you can get right back into this thing. They're only 2 games down. I kind of remember recently the Pistons were 2 games up in a series and lost that damn series. So it's never over till it's over, Cody.
That is true. It is tough though.
Yeah.
They haven't lost in, I think they said like 40 something days they haven't lost. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, odds are against them in that if you really think about it. Like, you wouldn't put the odds of the team that hasn't lost in 40 days. Eventually they're gonna lose. And I don't think they sweep the Spurs. Now, did they win it? Quite possible. You know what I mean? Brunson has been playing very well. Although I thought he got hurt the other night, even though I haven't been able to watch, and I wanted to gripe about this a little bit because it's been on ABC the entire time and I have no ability to watch ABC. So I have not been able to watch. And the only time, I could have watched it while I was down in Tennessee, but we were busy doing other things. So I missed that last game there. I did get to watch a little bit of the last Stanley Cup game and watch the Vegas or the Golden Knights win that one in overtime. That was pretty exciting. But yeah, like being on ABC, I haven't been able to catch any of this series, which is irritating as hell, to be honest, because it's been a good series so far. But I just, Brunson's been good. He got hurt there for a little bit the other night. I thought he was done. I was like, okay, Spurs got this now. But next thing you know, he's back in the game, and I go, oh shit, he's a little bit tougher than I thought he was. You know what I mean? Like, or he wasn't really hurt and he flopped a fake hurt, and because freaking basketball,
you would have flopping stuff.
Freaking hate flopping, Cody. I hate flopping.
No, I'm kind of glad you brought up the ABC stuff because up until the NBA finals, I was able to watch the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and then DirecTV decided that they want to have contract issues with ABC going into the finals for both obviously NHL and NBA. So again, like we said, business move. I mean, it's smart on DirecTV's part and ABC's part to have a contract issue just before the finals because everybody's tuned in the whole series or the whole playoff postseason, and then miraculously that happened. So I haven't even been able to watch them. I actually just got an antenna to try to watch at least this game and the couple games afterwards. But yeah, that's ridiculous too.
Trying to go rabbit ears, going back to the
Trying to,
80s.
man.
I grew up on that shit, Cody. Like, I understand rabbit ears, but I don't have them right now. But I'm really thinking about it because I had the same situation last year trying to watch the Lions because I usually for football season get Fubo because I don't have cable. You know what I mean? So like for football season, I get Fubo. I was able to watch all the football games pretty much. And then all of a sudden, Fubo started having contract issues with NBC, and all my NBC channels dropped. Well, guess what? The Lions mostly play on NBC. Luckily, I have Peacock.
There you
So
go.
because I have Peacock, that works just as well as NBC. So the one channel that they dropped, and I was able to still get. So I didn't miss any of my Lions games. Like that was my biggest thing I was worried about. Was like, gotta watch those Lions play. If I can watch the Lions and the Chiefs, I'm good to go. Like that's it. So I was able to still cover it all.
There you go, for sure. Well, speaking of football, and obviously our rivals, I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the Chicago Bears potential relocation stuff going on. It sounds like they're still moving forward with possibly moving to Indiana.
Yeah, and it's gonna be sad to see because I don't know if you've ever been by and actually seen Soldier Field. Like, it's a cool freaking stadium. I've never been in it, but I was able to walk by it there a couple of years ago. We went over to Chicago for a summer trip. Like every year, we let my kid pick a trip that he wants to do, and then me and the wife also do a vacation, but we give him one that he gets to pick. And a couple years ago, he wanted to go see big buildings. He wanted to go to Chicago, so we went to Chicago and we had the opportunity to walk right by in front of Soldier Field. Absolutely beautiful stadium, great location, cool area. It would be sad to see them leave, but at the same time, I kind of understand it. You know what I mean? Like when you're into Chicago and you start seeing the prices of some of this stuff and the taxes, like I have a buddy who I work with that recently moved to Chicago to take, a job with the same company, but a promotion. And he moved out to Chicago, and it's ridiculous to live there, bro. Like the taxes are wild.
Damn.
Like he pays more a year in freaking taxes on his house than he pays on his mortgage. Like it's absolutely wild. We're talking like $12,000 a year just in taxes on like a $150,000 house. Wild.
That's
Like
insane.
people can't afford to live there. Now these stadiums, granted, they make a ton of money. I understand it. You know what I mean? They're asking for tax breaks to remodel and all this other stuff, try to get some stuff. And the city don't want to cough it up. They're like, no, like you just owe us a bunch of money. The teams are going to move.
Yep.
These owners want to make money. That's what it's all about. They have, other people that are investing in the business that want to make money. You take the money away, they're going to move to somewhere that's going to give them offer these, these tax breaks and all these other benefits and, new stadiums and all this other shit. That they're going to do that. And I think that's the point that where, the Bears are at right now. Now it's going to be sad to see the Bears leave Chicago, even though after the Bears, you know what I mean? I'm not about the Bears. Not never a huge hater till Ben Johnson left us and stabbed us in our back and, broke our hearts and went over there to coach them. And the next thing you know, we go on to win the division. Bastards. But I'm right there. Like, I understand why they're doing it. I still think they can work it out though. Like, I think Chicago needs to step up and be like, hey, we want to keep you here. You're a big draw to the city. You draw a lot of people to the city, even though is the city going to survive without them? Yes, but it would be sad to see because that's one of the oldest stadiums in the NFL. And it's a historical site pretty much, and it's at a cool area, and it's going to be sad to see it go.
Yeah, and like the thing is like they just started getting good too. So it's like all those fans are finally seeing some success again in Chicago, and now it's going to get kind of taken away from them. So I don't know. It's going to be weird. Like, do you think they change the name or do they like keep it? I guess you can't really keep it Chicago if you're in Indiana. So
I mean, you can, bro. Let's be honest. I almost believe the New York Jets play in New Jersey. It's a completely different state. You know what I mean? So you can, because they're talking about just moving across the border. So chances are it will still probably be called the Chicago Bears, but be playing in Indiana. Who knows? It could switch names, but I doubt it.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I mean, especially with Indiana just winning the college football playoff. I mean, this would be big to have a pro team there as well. So
A
we'll have to see
successful
what
pro
happens.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, for sure. What else do I have on here? So sticking with football, obviously the Detroit Lions can't stay away from injuries yet again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like Kendrick Law suffered a season-ending ACL injury, our rookie. So what the heck is going on, Tim? Why are we getting injured? I mean, practice and OTAs just started. How are we already getting attacked by this injury bug?
It's part of the sport, bro. Like it's unfortunately it's always going to be there. You know, we're not the only team dealing with that at this point in time. It's sad to see Kendrick Law go down. I know he was a fifth round pick, but we did need that return piece. You know what I mean? Even though I think they should stick with Kennedy mostly. I thought he did fabulous in that position last year. But going forward in the future, I think we need to worry about that. But yeah, the injuries, we haven't had any notable names yet, you know, hit the injury list yet. So I think they've been backing off the practices a little bit. I think they're going to be doing stuff a little bit different than they've done in years past to try to sustain those injuries. You know what I mean? They didn't have the rookie mini camp this year that they normally do. So now at OTAs, I think they're taking things a little bit lighter, but I think it's just a freak accident. And sometimes that happens, dude. Like when I tore my ACL, it was on the most mundane thing that I could possibly be doing. You know what I mean? In the wrestling ring. I mean, all of it's kind of crazy, but I came off the second rope for a double axe handle after I got tagged in, and boom, both my knees went backwards. And I had to pull myself out of a ring and get carried to the back because I tore my ACL. Like 75% of it tore right there. Boom. It was holding on by like a little band. So sometimes it's just the weirdest stuff that can cause it. And when you're running routes and everything else and you're changing direction, put a lot of stress on the MCL. I mean, your Achilles. That's why we see so many Achilles injuries these days, and a lot of that I think deals with turf also because turf is almost too forgiving sometimes.
Yes.
And you would think that you would want more forgiving, but it causes stuff to overextend because it's forgiving and when you're slipping and stuff like that. So I think turf is definitely an issue that they need to get away from. I wish most teams just played on actual grass. I'm waiting to see what happens with that because I know I mean, we're talking about Chicago moving, but the Chiefs are moving too. I mean, they're going from Kansas City, Missouri to Kansas City, Kansas. So they're still going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, but they're moving across the river to a completely different state for the same type of issues that Chicago's going on right now. But Arrowhead right now is grass. They build a new stadium covered, and that's what a lot of these, you know, teams in the Midwest that have colder climates want, covered stadiums so they can create revenue, you know, in the off season when it snows with concerts and everything else. Like you don't have that ability at Arrowhead all winter long because it's cold, it's snowy. You're not going to have a concert in December there, you know. So
Yeah.
like you need to create revenue beyond just the football. Same thing with Soldier Field. I think that's another reason because they want to put a roof on that thing to create more revenue, and the city doesn't want to give them the breaks to do it. That I mean, it all runs down to that. But yeah, I wish most of them had grass. It's a tangent. But you know, like yeah, the injury bug. I'm crossing our fingers and hoping that we don't lose any stars at this point in time. It sucks to see Kendrick Law go down. I mean, we don't even know what he was going to look like yet. We weren't going to know until, you know, preseason on how well he's going to do. And I'm sure, you know, modern medicine these days, he might be back in 2 weeks. I mean, Scooble just did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, especially with Dan Campbell coming out and saying that Kirby Joseph's still trying to figure out that injury. Brian Branch being out, it's like we can't afford to have any more injured players. So
Yeah.
it's going to be tough. But actually, I have a question here from CB. She actually messaged me and said, "What Lions player has the most to prove this year? Who do you kind of see on the Lions that has the most to prove?
That has the most to prove. I mean, this is kind of like a two-parter for me because there's a couple of them that I'd have to say. I think I'm going to name three. CB, I'm going to rush it out there, and I'm going to name three. One, the biggest one of all, Jared Goff. He's got to prove that he can take this team to a Super Bowl. To be honest, and he's got to prove that he can still make plays and carry this team. And I really think that he can. I don't think what happened last year was any of his fault. You know what I mean? We know what we have in a quarterback. He's not mobile. He's not athletic. You know what I mean? We need a strong offensive line. We didn't have that last year. I also think that Isaiah Pacheco has a lot to prove. Everybody's downing on this guy.
That's your boy.
I'm a huge fan. You know what I mean? I am a huge fan. I've been a fan of him since he was on the Chiefs, and now he is with the Lions, and I'm ordering a jersey soon, Pacheco. I'll be rocking that. But I think he's got a lot to prove that he can live up to Montgomery. And I really think that he can. I think he was held back a little bit with a different style in Kansas City. He's going to be, going to have a lot stronger of a showing here. So I think he's got a ton to prove. And if I had to say defense-wise, I'm going to say it's Jack Campbell. He's got to live up to that contract extension that he just got. He's got to prove that he was worth that. I think he is. I mean, I don't think anybody has an argument there that he's not. But I really think he's got to, prove and earn that money he just got, because he just got a ton of money, even though he took a team-friendly deal. Respect, Campbell. Respect. Yes, I can't wait either. That improved O-line is going to be great. I'm excited to see how this goes. And also I have to say, and it's not really, has a lot to prove, but a lot of people are questioning Panay moving to left tackle. He's not going to have an issue, but I think he's going to have to prove that to a lot of fans that he doesn't have an issue, which a lot of, I don't want to say bandwagon fans, but a lot of people who didn't really follow what he did throughout college and stuff like that. He was a left tackle. He was never a right tackle till he came to the Lions. That was a new position for him, and he became the best right tackle in the league. This guy is a true left tackle. That was his position. That's all he ever played till he came here. The switch was going to right tackle. So I have no doubt he's going to be an all-pro left tackle this year. And then we could consider him the best left and right tackle in the damn league, which is impressive. So I think those are the names. And I also think, if we have to add it up there, I think the new OC has a lot to prove, because we didn't have a good run with OCs last year. So I think he's got a lot to prove, if we're going to call it some coaches too.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I agree with actually all the names that you said. And even, with that comment about the O-line, Gibbs is already explosive with the O-line that we had these last couple of years. So, them finally being able to open the hole and get him that space that he needs. I mean, I think he's going to have another breakout season for sure. And I'm hoping it does the same with Goff. I'm hoping this gives him some time, in that pocket. I know when he gets pressured there, he kind of just, throws it in the grass or throws it every which way but to where it needs to go. So they both I think are going to look good behind this O-line for sure.
That is very true. And I'm Lovett is one that I was thinking about when Kendrick Law went down. I'm like, we still got Lovett. He looked good last year throughout preseason. And I was like, I know he was competing with Tesla a lot to try to get that fourth spot last year. And I know it was a toss-up. So I'm excited to see maybe him have the possibility, but still stick with Kennedy. When Kennedy was running returns last year, he was doing phenomenal. Just stick with him there. You know what I mean? I think that's the wide receiver 4 is Kennedy. Just stick with him. He's been here for years and he's good. Just run that position.
Yeah, you brought up Tesla's name. Do you think he's going to get more touches this year? I feel like he was kind of more of like a decoy out there last year. But I feel like we have a lot of wide receivers too, so I feel like that's kind of the issue as well.
Yeah, I 100% think he's going to get a lot more touches this year. He's going to be, most likely, maybe in that second or third role spot. So probably third role. He's going to be wide receiver 3, to be honest, because he's not going to get above say Brown or JMO, but I think he's in that position, and he proved himself last year that he can pretty much catch anything from anywhere. You throw the ball his direction, he's going to go up and get it. So he's going to be a star. Watch out for Tesla this year. Keep an eye on him. Fantasy leagues, get Tesla. Last year it didn't work out so well, But if you remember JMO's first year, they didn't do a lot with JMO his first year either. I mean, they pretty much put him out there as a decoy occasionally. I think they did that with Tesla last year, but look how JMO stepped up his following year. I think we're going to see a repeat of that. I think this is going to be a big year for Tesla. I mean, the guy's built like a damn tight end. I mean, we could almost run him out there as a damn tight end. But having him in that wide receiver 3 spot and the speed that he has and the ability to go up, and I mean, he got that nickname. I see him going around calling him Vanillatron. So like the guy could go up there. He's, it kind of looked like, a Megatron out there, but just a little bit vanilla color.
That would be nice for him to be able to be the next Megatron. I'd be excited for that. So, but I asked CB and Keith last week how they feel about the Lions season and record and everything. I know we've talked about it a couple times. Do you think they're going to make playoffs this year with the easy schedule that everybody keeps throwing around, which worries me because it might look easy on paper, but it all depends on how that looks on the field.
Yeah, that can always change because some of those teams made some pretty good draft choices this year, and they could become pretty hot right out the get. You know what I mean? Some of those teams have new coaches too that could change the whole element. We can see sometimes how a new coach can turn a team around and win a division. We saw it last year with Chicago, so don't jump on the train of going, this is easy just yet, because I know New York's on that schedule and stuff like that. And the Giants, I'm a little worried about the Giants. Harbaugh is a hell of a coach, and they had a really good draft. So I don't think that's going to be as instant of a win as people think they are. Petzing, Petzing is one of those ones I think needs to prove himself after what we had going on last year, because a lot of people are doubting him already, but he is backed up by Kafka there. So I can see your point. I think he's going to do fine, and I think he'll fit well with this scheme. But I think, honestly, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Lions fan, but because of the easy schedule, we're seeing the drama going down in Green Bay right now with Jacobs. We don't know what's going to happen with him yet, so the running game's kind of shot. Chicago, I think, is going to take a little bit of a step back. They're going to have a hard schedule this year. So last year, they were the ones with the easy schedule, and they ran with it. They won this division. I think the Lions are a little bit better. Obviously, we beat Chicago both times last year. Both times that we faced them, Chicago has still not been able to defeat Dan Campbell. Like, Dan Campbell is still Ben Johnson's kryptonite. So I honestly think the Lions are going to win this division this year, and they're going to go into the playoffs. Now, it's going to be scary once again because we have a little bit of an easier schedule. How are we going to compete once we get to the playoffs? You know what I mean? And we start facing some of these tougher teams. I don't want to give my hopes up if they run through the regular season and end up being a 1 seed again, which I don't want to see happen, because we saw what happened last time they were a 1 seed. They got instantly eliminated. They don't do well after a break. They never do well after a bye week. So I'd rather them have to go through and play a wild card weekend. But I just want to see him make a damn Super Bowl, Cody. I mean, if you watch my clips from this past week, like, I was on a tangent. Yeah. I just want to see him make it. Like, you don't even have to win the damn thing. Just make it. And a lot of people are like, what's the point of making it if you don't win it? We ain't never even seen them in it. Like, just shut up, people. Like, we just want to see them play in one. Like, for God's sakes, just let them make. We were so close. We were 1/2 away just a couple seasons ago of making a Super Bowl. And it would have been like such a weird Super Bowl for me, because it would have been the Lions versus the Chiefs. And I'm a fan of both. So it would have been like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'd have been rooting on Lions like 100%, because that's my team. You know what I mean? But my AFC team is the Chiefs. But that would have been a crazy one for me, because even when they played that season and the Lions beat them, it was a little bit of a toss up for me. I was like, I'm rooting on the Lions, and the Chiefs would do something good. I'd be like, I normally would be rooting on you right now, but you're playing my Lions. I don't know how to feel. What's this? They ruined the cap with Parsons Watson contracts as well. Yeah, but I mean, the cap's going to go back up, so that's going to readjust over the next couple seasons. It's a little tight right now. I mean, Drake London just got a crazy ass contract too. That just, and then I think, Watson right after that, like, got that after the Drake London signing, like. Now we're starting to see that adjust. So the next couple seasons are going to be a little strange until that salary cap goes up, because every year it goes up by like 20-30 million, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So and I think teams take that into anticipation that, like, in 2-3 years, we're going to have to like 60 more million to hand out. So we'll be able to afford this over time. But yeah, right now, if you're signing, which makes me feel really good, about when they signed St. Brown, because St. Brown's better than all those guys, and we got them cheap,
Yes.
like real cheap. So, like, I'm pretty happy about that now. You know what I mean? So we did good in that point, but we do have some big contracts coming up, and I think like Gibbs might be holding out a little bit to kind of see what happens with like Bijan Robinson and them, to kind of see where the market's going. Laporta, I think the Lions might be holding out a little bit to see how he handles coming back after the neck injury. And then Branch, we don't even know if, how his Achilles is healing up. And then Kirby, I mean, Kirby's already re-signed. We're paying him a bunch of money. We don't even know if he's going to play again, even though I love Kirby. By the way, Kirby, if you go to the Sports Reel podcast on TikTok, we're giving away an autographed Kirby Joseph mini helmet. All you got to do is follow us, like it, and share our page, one of those posts, and you're into it. Once we hit 1,500 followers, we're giving away that Kirby Joseph mini helmet. So yeah, click that little thing right there. Jump in there. Follow us. We will give that thing away, and it might be yours. It's a cool little helmet. We'll be doing a Facebook giveaway here pretty soon too. We're going to go pick up something else for a Facebook giveaway.
I'm definitely going to jump into that giveaway. No, you're good. Plug your stuff.
I had to plug that, bro.
No, you are good. So, no, as always, Tim, I love talking sports with you. I'm going to go try to watch a little bit of this NBA Finals and kind of see who takes this game. But any last little things you want to add, and then like I said, plug your stuff for sure.
Last little thing, Lions need to kick ass this year. Tigers, just keep rolling. Get hot right now. Let's roll. Scooble, get back there. Don't trade him away yet. Like, that'd be a dumb move. You guys still have the ability to go deep into this thing. Pistons, I know we didn't bring up the Pistons at all right now, and I'm rocking all Pistons thing. Get yourself a shooter in the offseason and go make a run at this thing next season. Other than that, tomorrow night, you can catch us at the PFC Entertainment Network on YouTube and Facebook. We will be going live at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, and we're being joined by Addison from Two Guys, One Pod, and also League Champ. So you can watch us there. It's a great show. Also, you can find all of our other socials. You can search the Sports Reel Podcast on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. I mean, Instagram, everywhere. Just search the Sports Reel Podcast. Like I said, if you get in on the TikTok, you like and follow our page, you'll be entered in to win that autographed and authenticated Kirby Joseph mini helmet. As soon as we hit 1,500 followers, we will be giving that thing away. I think we have, about 400 something left to go last time I checked. So it's been going up slowly. We go ups and downs. TikTok really pisses me off because they don't really push your stuff as much as you want them to, or you think they should, because they want you to pay for it. That's all I get now is ads for promote. Like, they're like, if you pay $41, we'll push this to. It's like, shut up. I don't want to pay you $41 to push my stuff. Like, this is stupid. Like, just stop throttling my stuff and just let it naturally go out there. The algorithm is messed up, but they got to make money. I understand, it's a business. They're paying a bunch of other people. They ain't paying us. I know they're not paying you. They're paying a bunch of other people. If they want to make the money off of us to pay them so they can push our stuff. It's dumb.
We'll get there, Tim. We'll get there. And then
irritating.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another Monday night episode of Catch Up with Cody. We will be here back live next Monday. So catch it, join that show, jump in the chats and everything like that. As always, Tim, thank you again for joining. I know we have you on, I believe, next month again. So
I think you said June or July, or is it June? Am I in June 30th? No, I'm June. I don't remember, Cody. June 28th?
I know I'm in your studio sometime too, so we're going to get them all mixed up.
You're on with me again July 28th.
There we go.
I know I'm either on with you later this month, or no, it's July 20th. We'll have to, we'll configure off air, because I can't remember when I'm on with you. It's the same time Jason is on. Me and Jason are coming on your show.
Yeah, I got to figure out. I have it written down, but
yeah.
So
I have it in my notes somewhere. It's just not on my whiteboard. And I know you just got a big ass whiteboard too. So it should be. Where's your whiteboard? Look at your whiteboard, Cody.
Yeah, I know. I got to look at it. We'll talk about it off air for sure. So thank you guys all for tuning in this week on the Monday Night Show. We will be back next week. Peace.
Later.
Dust off